Hey, it's Cody, and I'm here to show you what I plan on working with in March. Um, a warning, not a piggy warning this time, a fucking wind warning. It has been so windy here where I live. It's been ridiculous winds for like the last 2 weeks every single day. I hate it. I hate wind and it's loud. So if you can hear, it's kind of died down now. So I'm trying to like do this really quick while it's not loud as shit in here because my house is like really loud from wind too. So if you can hear wind, I'm sorry. My dogs are also barking because they hate wind and they think since I can like change temperatures and things inside the house that I probably should be able to control outside. So they don't understand why I'm being an asshole and not turning off the wind. So they're barking intermittently too. But we're just gonna try and ignore that. All right. I'm gonna start out with books. If you're only here to see decks, then I mean I don't know. Skip forward. I don't know. I don't have like a time. I don't fucking know. All right. We'll just go. So the first book that I read in the month of February is Old World Witchcraft by Raven Grimassi. I did put up a book review of it. This was a reread for me, so that's out there if you're interested in what I thought of that book. Also, I read this. I didn't plan on reading this in February. I didn't even know it existed until I saw it in the store. One Dark Window by Rachel, I think it's Gillig. So I love things about magic cards, obviously, right? And the instant I hear that a book has anything to do with some sort of magical cards, like I'm all over that shit. So this does. It has to do with ultimately there's 78 cards. It's not a tarot deck. But there are I think it's 12 that they have magic powers and have to like gather them to get rid of this mist and shit. Like that idea is cool. For me personally, it was too much romance. It was insta love, and I guess it was supposed to be enemies to lovers. It's like there's a young captain of some like group of the King's Guard that's supposed to be killing people who have magic like the main character, but he suddenly fucking miraculously is trying to like keep her safe. Oh no, is this the love interest? Like that's I have yet to find. I feel like I like the idea of enemies to lovers might be kind of cool, but I've never seen it done well. So that's that. Okay, so these were my February books. I did, I'm going to show you my embarrassing, not very good parts of my, this is my reading journal. I don't know. I think I showed it at the beginning of my February stuff video. Seeing as I've only read one, like, fiction book this month, as you can see, I've got it on my February book list, which has a whopping one book. Also, I have not written about it yet, but I used this color and I drew like little gold shit because the book looks like that, kind of. If I had to pick that book, a tarot card, like I've been doing with my other ones, I would probably go with the Devil. Yeah, so I need to do my March page. Like, this is really not my best, but you know what? It's what I did. I'm not gonna like try and hide it because I didn't do as much as I had hoped. All right, so for books that I will be reading this month, okay, I'm gonna work on reading this month. Okay, here's The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. There's like a whole display of this book at my local Barnes & Noble when it came out. I think it was 2017. I don't know. I looked the other day and forgot now. And so I bought it and I read it. It's really like cold and impersonal, just the writing style, which is not my favorite. I did read through it. And then the second one came out and I bought the second one, but when I started reading it, I realized I didn't fucking remember anything from the first one. So it's actually been sitting on my shelf. There's actually a third one out too that I don't have. So I was like, well, let me reread this, and then I'll read the second one. I know for a fact that I read this, but I have very little recollection of what I'm reading. This is one of those books I'm kind of struggling with, just because, like, there's only one character that I like, and for some reason I'm having to hear a bunch about her dad fucking, like, a new wife that's half his age. Like, why am I reading this? Why is this important to the fucking story? I'll tell you, it's not. Okay, so I did start this. I'm just a little ways in. I feel like I've been reading for like 20 hours on this, and I'm like that much in. But all right, so I'm gonna be reading that this month. If I finish that, then I'll work on the second one, which is The Girl in the Tower. There's like a winter witch or something. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna deal with that right now. Okay, this is a book that I saw when it first came out. This is Son of the Storm. And I was really excited. I wanted this, but I couldn't get it at the time when it first came out. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I have like a list on like this little memo app thing on my phone of books that I'm interested in, and it got deleted. I must have done it in like a fit of some bullshit at one point. But then I couldn't find this book again because for some reason I had remembered something about a sun warrior. I don't know why. And I had also remembered, I guess I thought that the guy on the front here was black, and I don't think this guy is. So I'm like, this can't be that book. This is not the book. I've run into this book several times. And then I read a synopsis, and I'm like, wait, this is that fucking book. So I have literally looked for this book for months. Couldn't remember what it was called. I thought this wasn't the cover. So, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I'm excited about this. I wish, actually, that I hadn't started reading The Bear and the Nightingale, because I just want to fucking read this now. So, if I end up DNFing for now, the Catherine Arden books, then I will definitely do this one. Okay, so now we're to a tarot book. This is Finding the Fool by Meg Jones Wall. Now, Meg Jones Wall on Instagram is 3am Tarot. And I use a lot of their like new moon and full moon spreads and things. So that's just, it's a page that I go to a lot, especially for spreads and things. So I was super excited to get this. It's got like journaling exercises and things for each of the tarot cards, and not just the majors. It's got the minors too. And I always appreciate a book that treats the minors with the respect I feel that they deserve. So I've started reading this. I've been using it when I do a reading. I'll go ahead and look up the cards in here. I'm really, really liking this book. It's not full of a bunch of weird bullshit. But I'll be doing a book review of this book, specifically. So yeah, I'm excited about this. Also, it's beautiful. Okay, so, now we're to decks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 decks that I plan on working with. So when I plan on working with the deck, it's not necessarily that I'm like 100% gonna work with it. These are just the ones that I kind of have an idea I'd like to work with. So oh Jesus, I stacked them up and like they're gonna fall and kill me. All right. This first one I don't think is going to be a surprise for anyone to see. This is the Ostara Tarot. I know that there's people who are not the biggest fan of this deck, because there are 4 different artists who have worked on this deck. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of those decks. I say as I'm waiting for a Kickstarter to come in at some point this month, of one of those decks. But, I feel like the colors have sort of been limited, to make them seem more, well, those two are really different, but seem a little more cohesive. So, I mean, the spring equinox is coming up this month. It's springy. I also sometimes use this deck into summer. Okay, so I feel like I get what people are saying still about the different artists. Here's the thing. This deck has absorbed some different energy just for me, because when my grandfather died a few years ago, my grandma was going through his stuff and she found some Barnes & Noble gift cards that people had gotten him and he just hadn't used. So she gave them to me, and this was the first thing that I bought with it. So I allow decks to absorb things like that. I don't know. I feel like they're the kinds of things that should be allowed to take in different energies, you know? So I could like cleanse it and try and, you know, block that part of it out or something, but why would I when I'm happy with it having that energy? Not that I use this to communicate with him or with the dead at all in general. I don't know. I like it, and I like that about it. I think that it was a good decision on my part to buy this with it, instead of just a book, you know? Like, I bought a couple books because he had a couple, more than one gift card. So, I mean, this was just part of what I got, but I don't even remember what the books were because I remember that this is what I got. So, I will be using this month. Of course, when I do a reading for the spring equinox or Ostara, I will be using this deck. And, yeah, that's that. The gilding was, I feel like, a weird choice on this. I'm not really sure why silver was the... I don't know. If you had to gild... If I had the choice, you know, if I had to, like, pick... Shit. If I had to pick a gilding color for this, it definitely would have been gold over silver, even if I couldn't have picked, like, aqua or something. Alright, that was deck number 1. Alright, the next one that I'm going to be working with is, probably not a surprise, the Gentle Tarot. I have the full-size version of this. I got, this mini 1 in a tin, or pocket edition, or whatever it's called. Yeah, pocket edition. I feel like I take it places with me, but for some reason I don't use it that often. Okay, when I take a deck places, it's usually when I feel fine with something bad happening to. Like a little mini RWS or something that was, like, you know, not very expensive. Like, this was a mini deck that was almost $40 US. I'm not going to be slinging this. I mean, it's got, like, gold foil on the back and stuff. I'm not going to be putting this gross places. So I figured just to mix things up. I get along really well with the Gentle Tarot, so I figured that I would just go ahead and use the, I think there were 2 options for Lovers cards, and I just kept them both in here. I figured it would just kind of mix it up a little bit to use the mini one for a while. Just at home, you know. This one's a lot easier for me to put into my, tarot journal too, because I like to, like, make a copy of the cards, and while my printer has a copy function, it doesn't have where you can make it a smaller percentage of its size, so I just end up having to use full-size cards. So this one's nice for that, because, you know, you can fit several on there. So I was hoping I'd run into the other Lovers card, but I didn't. Anyway, I still need to get the big guidebook for this. Yeah. I really love the Gentle Tarot. Honestly, I felt like it wasn't very, like, I don't know, serious of a deck or something. So when I first got the full-size version, I just wasn't sure how I was going to get along with it. But actually reading with it, it's not, like, silly at all or anything. So if you're holding out because you think this deck is silly, let me recommend not doing that, because it's not. Like, it's kind without being, like, full of shit. Does that make sense? Like, it'll tell you terrible things, but it'll kind of, like, tell you with a little bit of hope in there instead of just saying the shit. I don't know, man. I really love the Gentle Tarot. I love the art. I love everything about it, and I'm using the mini one. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to see this fucker on here. This is the Cantuji Oracle yet again. This is also the bag that I made for it. The color changes were slower than I thought, so I ended up, like, pulling out a bunch of white yarn. It actually really pissed me off. I just crocheted, like, 2 circles and sewed those bitches together. Alright, so if you haven't seen this, it's a bizarre little deck, and I love everything about it. At first, I thought that I wasn't really into the artwork, but the more I work with the guidebook and see, like, the meanings, really, of the cards and things, it makes so much sense. I absolutely fucking love this deck. Like, honestly, I don't really know if I foresee a time where I'm going to be putting this deck away. Like, I actually made it its own little section on my altar, because I feel like it's probably just, it's going to be up there for a while. So this isn't the kind of thing I'm going to just use for a season. This is going to be there for the long haul, so I love this deck. The guidebook is fucking beautiful. Also, something interesting and I think super cool is that, like, the printing, the text in the guidebook is like this kind of green. But it's still really easy to read. It's not like it's difficult to see against the white background of the pages, so yeah, I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that, but so yeah, I will definitely still be working with this. I will say I don't ever write anything down about this deck. Like, it's not the kind of... This is my daily draw deck, so every day I draw a card from it. Not to say that that won't change, you know, at some point, but at this point, I don't really see it as, like, a deck that I would do a full multiple card reading with, just because each card just has such, like, a quiet but powerful meaning. I feel like they would just turn into kind of a muddy mess if I pulled a bunch of them. Okay, next is... So, alright. I live in Colorado in the US, in, like, southern Colorado. So, March for me is not, actually spring. Like, the calendar says spring. But I do start pulling out fairy kind of stuff. So this is Tarot of the Hidden Realm. This is one of those decks that honestly I never really put away. Like, if I have, like, something that I'm really, like, desperate for guidance on any time of the year, this is usually the deck that I grab. I don't use this to read. I don't use this to read for others. I don't really know why. It just feels personal to me somehow. I don't know. I don't know why. But it's Fae. I mean, it's definitely still going to be winter here through March for me. But I have probably my number one spirit that I work with, I suspect, is Fae. And it's not that he goes away during the colder months, like fall and winter. It's more like he's just kind of sleepy then. Like, I could still contact him, but he's not so active, if that makes any sense. I don't mean to be sounding like a crazy person, but usually around mid-February-ish, I kind of start seeing signs. He might show up in dreams, where he's kind of stirring and waking up. So I do tend to pull out some of my Fae decks around this time. I colored these edges, I think I've said before. I don't know if it was... I feel like this color is a good color for the fronts of the cards, but the backs, not so much. I wish the backs had been, like, brown and tan instead of the gray that they picked. That's... Again, oops. If I was picking the colors for this, I would do it different, okay? I would make better decisions. Alright, so, speaking of the Fae, here I have I believe it's For Hoxotero by MJ Cullinane. This is an indie deck. This is the same creator as, the Crow Tarot, Guardian of the Night Tarot, Grimalkin Tarot, I think, which is like cats. I think there's a dog one. And she's also working on a deck that I believe is ghosts. Yeah. So, I fucking love this deck. I colored the edges. It didn't come like that. This is the indie version. I do know that Hay House picked it up and is going to be releasing, like, a mass market version of it. I don't know when or anything else about that, but there's that. So I like this deck. This deck always is strange, I feel like, for me to like, because it's pretty colorful and busy, and usually busy, colorful things feel like too much for me. So, but this one just, I feel like it just speaks so plainly to me. I absolutely love this deck. I think this is my favorite of this deck creator's decks. Yeah, the Council of Monarchs is actually the Emperor card, but instead we've got Fae beings representing each of the elements, and they're sort of the ones who are in charge. And I like that. I like that it's more like a group situation than just like a dude on a throne. So this deck, while I'm pulling it out right now, it's very it has a lot of seasonal kind of elements to it. And really it could just be pulled out any time of the year. And sometimes the mood strikes me. I mean, this seems very wintry to me, almost like a Christmas tree maybe, but also we've got like assuming those are flowers sprouting. Got flowers here. Like this just looks really springy to me. Where there's like snowy winter ones. It's just, this deck really covers it all, I think. It encompasses so much, and I really like this deck. This is a good one for me. I like to use in big spreads. I don't know why, but this is always one that I reach for, when I'm gonna draw, 7 or 8 cards for something. So, yeah, here's more fairies. And I will be using this for the month of March. I've already actually pulled this out and used several times in the last half of February, so that's that. I guess I never really put fairies away completely, do I? Huh. Alright, so the next one, this is not particularly seasonal. This is Tarot of the Abyss. I'm really excited about this deck. Alright. This deck is new to me. I just got it. This has been for several years on my get a used copy list. And I finally found one. And it just has such like a nice clear swords energy to me. I love this artwork. And this deck came just right out of the box, and I felt like I just had this connection with it. It might not be, the springiest deck. But ultimately where I am, it is still winter. Oh my god, look at this fucking hermit card. I mean, I'm still definitely in the thick of winter here where I'm living, so I don't really feel like this is too out of place, but also I can use whatever I want, whenever I want, so I am going to be using this. I got this, partway through February. I don't know why I felt like I had to wait for the month change to really start using it, but I did. So I am super excited to get started using this. I feel like the lack of color kind of makes it so it doesn't feel like it fits into one season specifically. So, I don't know. I know that people are divided about this deck, and people hate that it's just black and white. That's really what I like about it. I've always really wanted, like, a black and white deck that I feel like I really connected with. And I've tried several, and just so many of them, a lot of the cards just feel really samey to me. But this one manages to escape that, and the artwork is amazing. I do believe that this deck creator, Anna Turian, is working on, let's see, she also did Oracle of Echoes. I think she's doing a Tarot of Echoes right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what it was. She also did the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh Tarot or something. That was way too much color for me. I was not interested in it. But the Oracle of Echoes I know already exists, right? I said the Oracle, yeah, so she's working on a tarot deck that goes with it. That one's kind of different coloring than the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh, so I am interested to see that one. So yeah, I'm super excited about this deck. Yeah, you've probably seen this. Like, I'm just way late to this party, so just over here partying all by myself in this deck that's been out for, like, however many years, but such is the nature of things, I guess. Alright, I have 2 more decks. Oh, I knew that was going to fall eventually. Okay, here is one that I got recently, I have not worked with yet, the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. So, from what I gather, okay, there was a deck that is now out of print, and I believe it was called the Mother's Wisdom Oracle, or something, similar to that. And I think this is a re-release of it. I don't know if there's any changes to the cards or anything. I don't really know how different it is than that original deck that's now out of print. I don't know if it's exactly the same or what. I did color the edges with like a kind of a fresh, springy green. It needs another coat, but alright, so I just am really into the artwork of this. Okay, it's like glaring right now, but these aren't actually shiny cards. I don't know what the deal is. But some of these cards I love. Like, I fucking love the Priestess. I love this. That's okay. Like, there's a couple of them in here that I fucking hate. Which is kind of a weird thing. Like, I'm not really a fan of this one. I'm just... That's pretty cool. I love that. I don't know. Some of these, like this one, are a bit colorful for me. But for the most part, I feel like it's the kind of thing I can handle because it's... they're more earthy, like, hues of the colors, if that makes any sense. So we've got some goddesses. I forgot. The guidebook, which I've just kind of looked through a little bit, has different clans, I think, or something. I don't know. There's physical objects. There's, like, archetypes. There's goddesses. I don't know. I really have not gotten a chance to work with this yet. And I feel like it sort of has that spring-like emerging life sort of energy to it. Nice. So I don't know how well I'm going to get along with this deck. I feel like a lot of times I'm drawn to decks that I think are going to have a feeling that I want. But then once I actually get them and start working with them, it's not really what I had hoped it was going to be. So hopefully this is not one of those situations for me. It's okay. I like these sort of, I don't know, divine feminine decks. But I just struggle to connect with them once I get them. I don't know why. Maybe I need to pull some of these cards out that really fucking annoy me. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm showing you literally this whole deck. I don't need to do that. Also, the backs are, like, weird. They're kind of like a brain or something. I don't know. But, I am going to give this deck a shot. Yeah. Put this guy away. I feel like the cover, this is one of the cards in there, but I don't feel like it did justice to really what, like, the rest of the deck looked like. I don't know. The cover card's energy is not the majority of these cards' energy in this deck, if that makes any sense. Alright, so the last deck that I am pulling out is this is the Forest 36 card Oracle deck by Tess Moody. So I got this off Etsy. I need to make it a bag because the box kind of sticks. I don't know if it's me or just mine or if they all do that. Alright, so I got this at the same time that I got like a Halloween Oracle or something, which is super cool. I really like this deck. I love the watercolors. This could have been a little bit more, or there could have been a little better contrast there for that. I just feel like there's a lot of plants and life pictured in this deck that I finally feel like I can pull out. Because I got this in like last October, but then it never really felt exactly right to pull out because it just doesn't feel like a very wintry deck. Like it's just too full of life for me to really feel like it goes. So I'm excited to really get to work with this deck. I think it's fucking beautiful. It's got good keywords. It's got the little, like, I don't know, like a little sentence in addition to keywords. It's also got a little guidebook. I guess I could hold it so you can see it. So it's, yeah. I'm really excited about getting to work more with this deck. I kind of tried to, but sometimes when I feel like things are specifically seasonal, I have a hard time working with them if it's not that season. So I finally feel like I can bust this out. I feel like it might work pretty well with some of the decks that I picked. Some of the tarot decks might pair well with them. So, all right, this was my books and decks. Oh, I didn't show you my my tarot journal for the month of February. If anyone is interested in seeing, I guess I'll show that really quick, even though this video is like half an hour. So, again, we'll show my successes and my failures. So, I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm, like, perfectly over here doing shit, alright? I'm fucking up, I'm being lazy, or, you know, just things happen. So here's my February page. These are the decks that I don't know, not necessarily that I was planning on working with. I got some of these this month. I've got my moon phases on there. These were my cards that I drew. This is from the Woodland Warden's Oracle. This came in Poppy card. This was what I drew in my year ahead reading. I think I've mentioned before that I like to do kind of an introduction page for each deck as it comes in. I don't always do them. Sometimes I do them like months later. I don't know why, but I don't have any deck pairings right now, but this is always the deck interview spread that I use. I just made a copy of the card. That's the back kind of cut up. This was for the Wild and Sacred Feminine. This is a terrible looking page for the Mystical Universe Tarot. This one I've got a couple of deck pairings. This was the Cerise Tarot. I drew little cherries there that could have been better. So, this was a spread. This is, I don't know if you can even see in the light. The Self-Love spread. I did this along with the February episode of the actual tarot podcast, which is back, by the way, if you watched it or whatnot. It's a podcast, but it's on YouTube, and it's Tegan from Cosmic Creeper and Tamara from Nightshade Tarot? Shit. I forgot. I'll put a link to their channel in the description box. And it's where they're actually slinging cards. So they'll have a spread that they're gonna do, and then like it's a live thing. So they're actually pulling their cards, giving each other, you know, suggestions about what the cards mean. I think that's really cool. That's such a good idea, rather than just watching someone like sitting and talking about it, but just to actually watch people doing it. And if you catch it live, you can be in the comments. It's just, the whole thing is super fun if you catch it, even if you don't see it live. It's really cool to even just look back on. So I did do that. Yeah. This, okay, I have a deck called the Lantern Guides Tarot. And it has, like, renamed, suits. But the way that they're renamed don't necessarily make sense to me. Like, I don't know how else to say that. So I did cut this little guide thing. I've got the elements in here and things, so that hopefully will help me get a grip on that. This was my Weaver's Oracle card for the last new moon, and then the next new moon I will go back and write about how I feel like this energy was present in my life for the last 4 weeks, and that's what I'll draw the next one. And then yeah, the last one was the new moon in Pisces. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I just didn't do a fucking spread for the full moon for February, but you know, fuck it. Alright, so this is just waiting for my March page and shit, which I probably need to go and do, so thanks for watching, bye!